Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jan. It's an honor to be here. It's a very interesting discussion, and I think it's very timely to talk about not just how the EU accession could play, but why do we need it, and what kind of Europe do we want? And I think all of the previous speakers actually started it with the question of, what is the EU strategic vision for the future? It's not just accession for the accession or enlargement for the sake of enlargement. There is no point in that, not for us, not I think for all of the member states. What kind of union EU wants to be? Are we up to the challenges? And I say us because I think that Ukraine is a part of EU. It's just a process, as you said. We don't want to be in the waiting room. We want to be actually a beneficiary partner to a lot of challenges that the world is facing, not just the EU. You started this discussion, Joanne, from saying that EU accession is not a sexy topic anymore. I think this is very true. The fact is that the sexy topics are basically here at the title of the annual government roundtable from the Economist. It's growth, technology, resilience, the challenges, the AI, the new possibilities. And Anne Applebaum here on stage, I think, did a perfect kind of provocation for the discussion, citing the book The Hour of Predator, where the book actually says that the old liberal rule-based order is collapsing completely, and there is this breed of predators like autocrats, dictators, new tech billionaires who are, who know nothing about the rules, who don't want to talk about the rules, and it's either the predator who wins or somebody who loses. I actually think that this is definitely not, how the Europe was built, and not the future that we want to build. I think that this could be a very different thing from the zero-sum game to a win-win, because Europe was always a coalition. It was always taking best practices and best possibilities from different countries, and it was always built in challenging times. It was never easy, probably. So I still think, and maybe I'm an idealist in this way, that there is a lot of things that we could provide for Europe as Ukraine, as a country in war with enormous amount of experience in resilience, in technology, in protection, in AI, in drones, and in a lot of other things. And that obviously we need from European countries, and a lot of countries could provide the share. My colleague from Greece said about the new energy system. Things have changed, you said. But I think they have changed not just in energy for sure, but they have changed also in infrastructure. They have changed a lot in understanding of the world order. They have changed a lot in diplomacy, in geopolitics. And Europe, is ready, I think, to face that, but not all of the countries are ready to face that. I will just cite you a number of cases from Ukraine. Russia has destroyed 3 million households in Ukraine, which is more than all of the houses in the country of Denmark, for example. Russia have destroyed during the past 4 years 4,000 kilometers of roads and infrastructure and bridges, which is basically the road from Kiev to Athens and back, right? And if you talk about the ports, we have had sirens for the past year in the ports for 1 month. So for 1 month, the ports could not operate normally because of the sirens and the drones attacks. In any other circumstances, that would mean that the country is collapsing and there is no economy, there is no growth, there is no possibilities. It's the total war, it's the total destruction. And Ukraine is still not just not collapsing, but actually showing economic growth in parts of the country, doing the exports of grain and doing the exports through the Black Sea ports more than we did before the war, with the help of the partners, with the help of a lot of IFIs and coalitions. But we are doing that notwithstanding the drones attacks, the military difficulties, the difficult logistics, the disruption, the people who left, but the people who stay are actually incredible in resilience. So we have this technology of protection, we have this technology of working in very difficult circumstances. I've just been to the conference in Brussels, which was a preparedness conference of the Commissioner Labib, right, for the civilian protection. And there was a CEO of the port of Antwerp Bruges in the panel. And he was asked a question, is the port ready for a drone, flying in? And he said no. And they are learning from our Black Sea ports how to operate with, when one drone comes and the drone costs $1,000 and the complete ports and millions of dollars, billions of dollars stop operating. So I actually think that we have this experience and we can help EU build the stronger outcomes and the stronger vision, not just through economy, through energy, through new technologies, but through this new resilience and this new expertise that unfortunately I think will come very, very handy, not just for countries such as Finland or the Baltic states, but also unfortunately for all of the countries here, for Greece, and for everyone else. And I think this is about the vision for the future, about the win-win, about taking the best practices from each other and learning the best things. We're also doing right now the AI technology of protection, how to protect the critical infrastructure with AI, with the people, with the best resilience protocols. And this is what we are bringing to the table, not to the waiting room, but to the table. Thanks.